old station wagon with a tent, a Coleman, and sleeping bags. Hard to get through since you've gone. Saw the end in sight. Fools are kind of blind.
George Strait, the king of country, and Norma Strait had been together for over 50 years, seemingly inseparable. But during a special concert, right after George made a move that stunned both the audience and the media,
I'm here with my wife Norma, and if we make it to December, that'll be 50 years.
their story took an unexpected turn. In an instant, the stage erupted with a series of reactions, and what happened next made the public believe this was the greatest turning point in their marriage.
I knew this girl, Norma, so we fell in love. 50 years ago today.
In the late 1960s, Pearsall, a small town in Texas, was a place where almost everyone knew each other. It was there that George Strait and Norma Strait were first introduced through a blind date arranged by a mutual friend. At that time, George was a sports-loving high school student, while Norma was a gentle and reserved young woman known for her quiet nature. Although they initially dated for a short time before parting ways, both soon realized the feelings they had for each other had never faded. Looking back on that period, George once said, "She was the first girl I ever loved." After graduating from high school, George enlisted in the military. Before leaving his hometown, he and Norma made a bold decision to elope to Mexico and get married on December 4, 1971. This came as a surprise to friends and family, as they had never publicly announced their plans to marry. A few days later, the couple held a small ceremony at a church in Pearsall to officially formalize their marriage before family and close friends. Immediately after the wedding, George was assigned to Schofield Barracks in Hawaii, serving in the U.S. Army from 1971 to 1975. Norma did not hesitate to leave Texas to live with her husband in Hawaii. During this time, George began participating in musical activities within the military and formed the group Stony Ridge, which later changed its name to Ace in the Hole Band. This was the foundation of his music career, accompanied by numerous challenges, limited military income, high living costs in Hawaii, and the pressure of George's frequent absences due to duties. Norma was the one who kept the home stable, took care of daily life, and encouraged George to pursue music even when the future remained uncertain. In 1975, after his discharge, they returned to Texas. To make ends meet, George worked as a livestock farm manager while enrolling at Southwest Texas State University to study agriculture. He worked on the farm during the day and performed with the Ace in the Hole Band at honky-tonks fairs and community events at night. The audience was mostly local people, but this period helped George gain stage experience and develop his performance style. During the early years of their marriage, George and Norma lived very frugally. They chose to prioritize family and avoided chasing costly pleasures. In an interview in the 1980s, George admitted Norma has always been very supportive. "Success is something she wanted for me as much as I wanted it." This statement clearly reflects Norma's role, not only as a life partner, but also as the emotional support that allowed George to persist with his music. The major turning point came in 1981 when manager E.R.V. Woolsey introduced George to MCA Records. His debut single, Unwound, immediately entered the top 10 on the Billboard Hot Country Songs chart, opening a new chapter. However, instead of moving to Nashville, like many other country artists, George and Norma decided to stay in Texas. According to George, the reason was to keep a stable living environment for their family and to avoid the pressures of the music industry hub. He wanted their children to grow up in a normal environment free from scrutiny. From the moment his fame began to spread, George insisted on separating work from personal life. Norma and their children rarely appeared with him at public events or in the media. George explained that the George Strait image on stage was only one part of him, while his family needed their own space away from the noise of the spotlight. The period from 1971 to 1981 is the clearest evidence of their unity. George devoted all his energy to building his career, while Norma took on the role of keeping the family flame alive. Their way of overcoming hardships together, living simply, and staying away from complicated relationships in the entertainment industry laid a solid foundation for their marriage. This helped them withstand far greater challenges in the future. But just when everything seemed to be on track, they faced the most painful ordeal of their lives, an irreplaceable loss that completely changed the way both of them viewed life and work. A major tragedy and loss. On June the 25th, 1986, in San Marcos, Texas, George Strait and Norma Strait faced the greatest shock of their lives. Their daughter, Jennifer Strait, only 13 years old, died in a serious car accident. According to police reports, Jennifer was riding in a Ford Mustang driven by 18-year-old Gregory Wilson Allen. When the car suddenly veered out of its lane, the driver tried to steer back, but lost control, causing the vehicle to roll several times. Jennifer was thrown out of the window because she was not wearing a seatbelt and died at the scene. The investigation confirmed that the incident was not related to alcohol or drugs, but Allen was still charged with criminally negligent homicide. Only hours after receiving the news, George and Norma were plunged into an indescribable state of loss. George maintained his scheduled performances, but chose to face the pain in silence. He avoided the press-declined interviews and barely mentioned the incident publicly. In a rare interview many years later, he said, "It just kind of turned my life around. You have to get up and go on." This brief statement conveyed the strength to rise from deep loss, reflecting a choice to confront grief through action rather than words. Halting most media activities during this time was a deliberate decision. George believed that silence was the only way to protect his family, especially Norma and their son Bubba, from pressure by the public and media. This privacy became a lasting characteristic of his working style and personal life thereafter. Also in 1986, George and Norma transformed their pain into purpose by founding the Jennifer Strait Memorial Foundation. The organization's goal is to support children's services focusing on medical, educational, and emotional needs. Its main operations are in the San Antonio area and surrounding regions, but its influence has expanded across the state of Texas. The foundation operates on principles of transparency, financial openness, and efficient allocation of resources to where they are most needed. According to public data, since its inception, the Jennifer Strait Memorial Foundation has donated over $1 million to nonprofit organizations serving children. In 2023 alone, it granted $280,000 to places such as St. Jude Children's Research Hospital and Boys and Girls Clubs, supporting everything from medical treatment to educational and community sports programs. Norma played a key role in managing the foundation's activities, overseeing project selection, and ensuring funds were used appropriately. Family and friends describe Norma as the pillar during this period, someone who bore the grief while coordinating charitable work, helping the family maintain a positive meaning from Jennifer's memory. George himself quietly participated in many fundraising events, but always upheld the principle of limiting media exposure. This approach earned the Jennifer Strait Memorial Foundation high regard, not only for the amount raised, but also for its sustainability and focus on long-term goals. The 1986 tragedy left a profound mark on George Strait's music and life. Though he rarely spoke about Jennifer on stage, many fans believe that the emotions from this loss shaped the deep and sincere style of his music in the years that followed. His songs after the event often carried a more somber tone, reflecting a mature perspective and appreciation for every moment of family life. Notably, though the immense loss, the relationship between George and Norma did not fracture but grew stronger. Facing and overcoming the tragedy together further reinforced their bond. On many occasions, George affirmed that Norma was the one who kept the family from falling apart, and he was grateful to have her by his side during the hardest times. After 1986, George Strait ceased being an artist who openly shared personal stories with the public. He became a private individual focused on music and family, maintaining a clear boundary between career and personal life. This not only helped him sustain stability after the tragedy, but also created the image of a rare country music star who preserved his privacy for decades. Surviving the terrible loss, George Strait entered the most glorious phase of his career, continuing to assert his position while maintaining the principles shaped by that turning point. Reaching the peak of his career. Entering the 1990s and the early 21st century, George Strait firmly established himself as a legend in country music. He holds the record with 60 #1 singles on the country charts, an unmatched feat, 33 platinum-certified albums, and over 100 million records sold worldwide. In the U.S. market, George ranks 12th among the best-selling artists of all time. Landmark works such as Oceanfront Property, 1987, the first country album to debut at #1 on the Billboard, Top Country Albums chart, and the Pure Country soundtrack, 1992, further cemented his title as the King of Country. George's awards collection is equally impressive. He won the CMA Entertainer of the Year award 3 times, earned 17 ACM awards, and was named Artist of the Decade in 2009. In 2014, his The Cowboy Rides Away tour marked the end of his full-time touring career. The 48 sold-out shows across the U.S. concluded at Atant Stadium in Arlington, drawing 104,793 fans, the largest indoor concert attendance record in the U.S., with total revenue reaching $100 million. The final show featured many country stars such as Alan Jackson, Kenny Chesney, Sheryl Crow, Miranda Lambert, and was released as a live album, becoming one of the best-selling live albums in the genre. Despite being at the pinnacle of success, George Strait maintained his unique style loyal to traditional country music. This stance was most clearly expressed in his collaboration with Alan Jackson on Murder on Music Row in 2000. Written by Larry Cordell and Larry Shell, the song openly criticized the dominance of pop country, arguing it diluted country music's identity. Although never officially released as a single, the performance at the 1999 CMA Awards created a significant impact, pushing the song into the top 40 and earning it the CMA Song of the Year award in 2000. George shared in an interview, "The old traditional stuff is what got me here, emphasizing the importance of preserving roots." George's relationships in the entertainment industry are mostly positive. He and Alan Jackson have been longtime close friends, collaborating many times at major events. George also maintains strong friendships with Reba McEntire, Faith Hill, and other colleagues. He rarely appears in conflict or controversy stories, partly due to his calm personality and partly due to his deliberate avoidance of the entertainment world's noise. His professional work ethic and respect for family also set him apart. While filming Pure Country 1992, he firmly refused to shoot a kissing scene to honor his promise and respect for Norma. This decision surprised the production team but was ultimately accepted, and it further endeared George Strait's on-screen image to audiences. Throughout his career, George has almost never been involved in personal scandals, a rarity for a star of his stature. His privacy, strongly shaped after the tragedy of losing his daughter, combined with his straightforward artistic nature, created the image of an artist both respected by peers and beloved by the public. But this discretion and caution sometimes created openings for inaccurate or distorted information to spread. This was evident years later when a seemingly ordinary statement from George about rescheduling shows became the source of entirely different stories from what he intended to convey. From that statement, a wave of discussion erupted, leading to rumors that both fans and media found hard to ignore. Media explosion revealed. In October 2022, during a backstage interview in Austin, just before a sold-out show, George Strait unexpectedly shared a private moment with his crew and a few close confidants. This moment became the spark for an unprecedented wave of rumors. According to several people present, George mentioned that his marriage was heading in a troubling direction and that he was under considerable pressure. The first messages appeared in private fan groups suggesting serious issues in George's marriage. Some members even claimed to have heard insiders hinting that this might be the final chapter of a relationship lasting over 50 years. Notably, throughout the rumor outbreak, both George and Norma remained silent. This silence in the eyes of tabloid media only made the story seem more credible. Radio shows and entertainment podcasts began discussing the matter, even inviting marriage psychologists to analyze George's tone and body language from recent videos. The situation only became clear when the full interview transcript was leaked. In it, George stated plainly, "It's time I give her more of my time. We've been through a lot together, and I want to be there for her just as she's always been for me." There was no mention of divorce or illness. It was simply the heartfelt words of a husband wanting to slow down his work pace to enjoy more everyday moments with his wife. Fact-checking sites like Snopes and PolitiFact quickly stepped in, pointing out that the shocking video clips had been taken out of context. Sources close to the family confirmed Norma was healthy. The couple still lived on their Texas ranch and had appeared together at several recent events. George's official fan pages simultaneously posted photos of the couple at a charity gala in San Antonio, refuting all rumors. Nevertheless, this incident served as a stark reminder of the speed and destructive power of misinformation in the social media age, where a private statement can be twisted into evidence for an entirely different story. In the months that followed, the moments witnessed by the public themselves became the strongest rebuttal to all speculation. The truth behind the rumors. Less than 2 years after the storm of rumors, George Strait took public actions and shared moments strong enough to completely erase any doubts about his marriage. On June 15, 2024, at Kyle Field Stadium at Texas A&M University, he stepped out before a record-breaking crowd of 110,905, the highest concert attendance ever in the U.S. After more than 2 hours of performance, George suddenly paused amid cheers to deliver a special thank you to Norma, his wife, of over half a century. "Norma, this one's for you." The crowd immediately erupted, and images of him raising his hand toward Norma in the stands were captured by tens of thousands, shared widely on social media, as vivid proof that all previous rumors were baseless. In November 2024, at the CMA Awards ceremony, George was honored with the prestigious CMA Willie Nelson Lifetime Achievement Award, one of country music's highest honors. As he took the stage, he spoke not only about music, but also took time to mention, Norma, we've been married 53 years. I love you." This moment quickly became a media highlight, serving both as a tribute and a public declaration that their love remained as strong as ever. Beyond music, charity work remains an indispensable part of George and Norma's lives. The Jennifer Strait Memorial Foundation, named after their late daughter, continues to run numerous programs supporting children's health education and community activities. In December 2023, they launched the 12 Days of Christmas campaign aimed at fundraising for children's hospitals and orphan support centers. The campaign raised hundreds of thousands of dollars, directly helping thousands of children across the U.S. in 2025, when South Texas was severely affected by floods. George and Norma not only donated, but also actively participated in relief events, distributing supplies, and assisting families who lost their homes. Images of George in a simple shirt and cowboy hat, standing alongside Norma handing out food, were praised by local media as exemplary dedication from artists to their community. In the music field, George openly expressed pride in his son, Bubba Strait. Bubba is not only a songwriter co-authoring many tracks, but also contributed directly to the album Cowboys and Dreamers 2024, a work that received positive reviews both commercially and critically. Beyond music, Bubba is a professional roping athlete frequently appearing in major competitions. George has shared many times that working alongside his son on stage and in life is one of his greatest joys at this stage. Every public appearance by George subtly conveyed a message of unity. In a recent interview, he succinctly stated, "We love each other, and we still like each other. This phrase not only dispelled rumors, but also expressed a simple, profound view on lasting marriage. Looking back, fans realize that George Strait is not only the king of country with 60 #1 singles and hundreds of millions of records sold, but also a man who sees family as the foundation. From deep past losses, he and Norma have built a solid private life, separated from media scrutiny, close enough for the public to perceive authenticity. From online suspicions to public moments affirming their bond, the story of George and Norma shows that sometimes truth requires no argument, just time and actions to prove itself. After more than half a century together, they continue side by side on every path, from record-breaking stages to quiet, meaningful charity work. What George expresses on stage, the community campaigns they lead, and the pride he shows in son Bubba are the clearest answers to all rumors. George Strait leaves not only a vast musical legacy, but also stands as a symbol of loyalty and resilience amid storms. If this story strengthens your belief in the value of commitment and faithfulness, please like and share this video to spread this positive message. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications to never miss behind-the-scenes stories, truths, and intriguing secrets from the entertainment world. What do you think about George Strait's journey? Leave your thoughts in the comments below.